The world is full of traps at every corner, ready to take away your masculine power. Just take a look at every famous Netflix movie or show that is being promoted, or the types of people that are being idolized these days. Nothing escapes the elite's mind control agenda. Men are being brainwashed into accepting weakness. There is a very famous story about a lion that I want you to hear. Once upon a time there was a fierce lion who was feared by everyone. One day, the lion fell in love with the farmer's daughter, but there is a problem. The farmer hated the lion and, upon learning of the lion's love for his daughter, he wanted to do everything to stop it. So the scheming farmer calls the lion and says he will only allow him to marry his daughter on one condition, that he remove his sharp claws for his daughter's safety. The lion thought, well, it's just a small price for a big reward. Why not? The lion goes to a rock and breaks its claws. The next day he goes to the farmer and says, "Now I have no sharp claws, now give me your daughter's hand in marriage." But the sly farmer tells him to do one more thing, that he remove his sharp teeth and fangs. The lion agrees to this condition too and breaks his sharp fangs. However, when the lion returns to the farmer the next day, the farmer attacks the lion and kills him. This time, the lion had no claws or sharp teeth to defend itself. Everything that gave the lion strength he chose to give up willingly, one by one. Remember, brothers, the world you live in today is no different. There are much greater forces at play that have carefully designed the matrix to keep you a slave to your desires and impulses. And here's the hard truth. You can blame the farmer or the elites all you want, but ultimately, it was the lion who willingly chose to obey them. Strength is the virtue that all men must follow, whether in their professional, financial or romantic lives. Every man naturally has the desire to feel dominant, strong and powerful because that is who you are. All men desire a strong sense of drive. Many of us don't because we indulge in behaviors that keep us from becoming the strong men we were destined to be. Nowadays, men complain about everything, spend a lot of money on drugs and pornography, and even apologize to others for things that don't require an apology and habits that make men weak. Number 1, making fun of others. This is a point that not many people talk about, but as a high-value man, you should never look down on others. You may have heard the example of the bucket of crabs. When a crab is about to escape from the bucket, others pull it back. If you find yourself mocking others, remember this: you are beneath them, period. Of course, this doesn't mean you shouldn't correct someone for their mistakes, but don't make fun of it. As a man, you need to teach and guide your brothers without resentment or ulterior motives. Remember, strong, confident men don't put others down. Instead, listen to what Mike Tyson says about it. Social media has made you very comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it. Number 2, failure to accept responsibility. Going back to the story of the lion and the farmer's daughter, the biggest reason why the lion loses everything in the end comes down to him not being aware of his responsibility. His responsibility was to live like a lion. His sharp fangs and claws were part of what made him a lion, but he forgot that responsibility and chose to abandon it. The same happens in your life. Assume your responsibilities with pride. I want you to say with me, I will honor my responsibilities with pride, for they are what make me a man. The day you choose to escape your responsibilities is the day you choose to abandon masculinity altogether. I want you to memorize this quote by heart: the price of greatness is responsibility. Number 3, escape from failure. This is a challenge for many men these days. Most men always choose comfort over growth. Remember that growth is painful and is often hidden behind failure. There is a famous example of the man who will dig for diamonds. He doesn't know how deep beneath the surface the diamond is, but he keeps digging. At first he only sees more dirt each time he digs, but he keeps digging. After a few hours or even days, he finds what he was looking for. So remember, failure is not the end. If this is the mindset you have, you can be sure that you will never succeed at anything. Think of anything worth having. Let's say you start a business. In the beginning, you may face so many so-called failures as you try to learn the business and win over your customers, but when you stay in the game long enough and don't try to run away from these temporary failures, you will find yourself growing. The same happens with women. At first, when you approach them, you may seem like a strange man who doesn't know how to interact, but your success lies behind these temporary failures. This is a small price a strong man needs to pay for success. We are often trained as children to be ashamed of our mistakes and failures, to try to justify them by blaming someone else. You may have said, "It's not my fault," or "That person is to blame." These are the thoughts of a loser. I want you to listen to this quote and write it down somewhere if you want. He is a weak man who blames his failure on the strength of others. Number 4. Submission to feudal laws. Very easily, do you want to know the difference between a coward and a man of high value? Simple. The coward will always side with the majority, even if what they are saying is clearly wrong. And the worst thing is that the coward expects the man of high value to also submit to these feudal and evil laws and regulations. A man of high value always examines and judges everything before deciding to follow. In today's world, we've been so conditioned to the mentality that you shouldn't judge, or you shouldn't do this or that it's getting out of hand. You are just a puppet and a lab rat at this point who submits to every agenda and law they create. There is nothing wrong with obeying, but only obey what is aligned with your purpose, your mission. And above all, besides God, nothing is above the law of the Almighty. Ask yourself if you are someone who is easily intimidated and tries to please everyone. For some men, it can be incredibly difficult to learn to say no, but if you act from the truth, for the first time you will understand that the world is not going to collapse around you. I've seen so many men lead lives of fear in marriage, as if their wives are some kind of tyrant, and they dare not speak up or correct them. This is a clear example of feudal submission. Fifthly, you have poor body language. The concept of body language is very important. This includes nonverbal cues such as a handshake, eye contact, how you sit, walk and move when you talk and interact with others. People can tell whether you are a strong or weak man by your body language. Agendas have also turned against strong male body language. Be intentional with your body and maintain a masculine posture. Remember that your body language is easily the first and easiest way to prevent someone from taking advantage of you. Sixth, waste. We always discuss the importance of your young days on this channel. Your early 20s, and even your 30s to some extent, are what we call your golden days. These are the days when you must build, build, build. Think of a farmer who plants a seed. He does not require the seed to bear fruit the next day. In your 20s, just as a farmer plants seeds, you need to plant spiritual, emotional, and physical seeds that will help you grow. But here's the most important part: don't expect to reap these rewards right away. Just keep planting. Before you know it, you will have planted forests and gardens that attract the right kind of life. By planting, I mean challenging yourself. This doesn't mean you need to buckle down and work 24/7, but always keep in mind that these are the days when you have the most energy and the opportunity to take the biggest risks. Use it in your favor. Especially when you're young, you may feel like you're missing out on the culture of hooking up with multiple people while investing in yourself, but resist the urge. You may not understand this now, but as you mature and grow older, you will thank yourself for not getting distracted. Listen to what the wisest man on earth has to say about his young days. These are the words of Solomon: "You who are young, be happy while you are young, and let your heart rejoice in the days of your youth. Follow the paths of your heart and what your eyes see. But know that for all these things God." 7th, be lazy and unproductive with your time. What time do you go to bed and what time do you wake up? How is your day structured? What do you do when you get back from work? These are all questions you need to take seriously. Don't think of them as a side task that you can think about when you have free time. As a man who wants to strive for success in all areas, you need to carefully plan your day. Think about why the powerful are so successful in building the matrix. Every aspect and area has been carefully planned. Likewise, think about each part of your day, the types of people you are spending time with, the type of content you are consuming. If you don't have the right thoughts in your mind, rest assured that you have given the matrix open access to penetrate you. Laziness is the greatest enemy of men today. As a man, you can have so many thoughts related to business or life but never act on them if you allow laziness to gradually creep into you without you noticing, devouring, and preventing you from moving forward with your life in a productive manner. Always remember, brothers, that laziness only has a chance against weak men, because a man of high value quickly learns to detect and correct it. Always be aware of laziness and combat it as soon as possible. So remember, brothers, weakness is the virtue of modern society. Weakness is what they pursue, but strength is their greatest virtue. Seek strength at every opportunity and remember that God is your greatest strength. And don't forget to show your support. Click the subscribe button and give a like so the algorithm understands that the video is good and recommends it to more people. Stay on the screen and watch the videos that appeared here. To the next.